When asked, most people would state the Battle of Little Bighorn as the worst defeat suffered by U.S. forces against Native Americans. They would be wrong, ironically enough. The worst defeat ever does not even have a proper name, only going by St. Clair's defeat, or sometimes the Battle of the Wabash. Before American independence, tensions in the area of the Great Lakes were running high for a long time already, as British and French conflicts over fur spilled into native territory, some of the natives allied with the French, and some with the British, in what was a chaotic series of conflicts. This followed some more British native conflicts, but then a new country was founded, the United States of America. As the American War for Independence ended in the 1783 Treaty of Paris, Great Britain recognized United States sovereignty of all the land east of the Mississippi River and south of the Great Lakes. The native tribes living in the area, however, were not participants to this treaty. Therefore, in 1783, these tribes decided to make an alliance. Cherokee, Iroquois, Delaware, Miami, Ottawa, Ojibwe, Potawatomi, Shawnee, Wabash, and Wyandot nations formed the Northwestern Native Confederacy. Many of them, especially leaders such as Little Turtle, chief of the Miami Nation, and Blue Jacket chief of the Shawnee Nation, refused to recognize American claims to the area northwest of the Ohio River. We will get into more details in a minute, but first I have to thank NordVPN for sponsoring this video. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, a service that protects your internet connection and privacy online. NordVPN provides security by encrypting your data and protects your online identity by hiding your IP address. This way criminals cannot steal any of your sensitive information. It's really useful when connecting to a public Wi-Fi. NordVPN also hides your location. For example, Netflix has different movies and TV shows available for streaming in different countries. With NordVPN you can stream any show from any country. No matter where you are, you can keep up with your favorite TV show, even when traveling. Simply fire up Nord and enjoy your favorite shows. As one of the leaders in the industry, Nord offers a fast connection and it's fairly cheap. It's easy to use, and it allows you to connect up to 6 devices on one account, which means that you can protect not only yourself, but your whole family at no extra expense. Click the link in the description to head over to NordVPN and save up to 65% on a deal, plus 4 extra months for free. There's no reason not to try it out. The offer is limited, so hurry up. The 1780s. Despite the Treaty of Paris of 1783, the British abandoned their forts on the northwestern border of the US but didn't abandon the fur trading posts, a direct violation of the peace treaty that ended the Revolutionary War. They also supported the natives and sold them arms to help them fight American settlers. After the treaty, settlers and landowners were eager to get their hands on the rich lands of Ohio. During the mid and late 1870s, a cycle of violence in native-settler relations and the continued resistance of native nations threatened the planned American expansion. American regulars, militia, and volunteer forces had marched into the Northwest Territory, but achieved only mixed results, and were unable to permanently defeat the natives. The Battle of the Wabash. Prior to the Battle of the Wabash, President George Washington had dispatched an expedition, led by Brigadier General Josiah Harmon, to put an end on the Miami raids, which were led by the Miami chief Little Turtle. A force of 1,453 men, mixed militia and regulars, marched northwards from Fort Washington on October 7, 1790. Less than 2 weeks later, they were ambushed by Native American forces. A little over 1,000 warriors of the Northwestern Confederacy attacked them near Key and Fort Miami, present-day Fort Wayne in Indiana. Suffering heavy losses, 262 killed and 106 wounded, as well as losing a third of their horses, the Americans, under the command of General Harmon, retreated back to Fort Washington. The Northwestern Confederacy suffered an estimated 120 to 150 killed or wounded. In 1791, as a response, President Washington dispatched General Arthur St. Clair and 14 soldiers for a new campaign. Set out with his force from Fort Washington, near present-day Cincinnati, in September of 1791, St. Clair ordered his army to build a series of forts along the route. The American force, which was composed primarily of volunteer militia, experienced desertions, low temperatures, and constant supply trouble. The men were weakened and demoralized by the time they reached the banks of the Wabash River. On the evening of November 3rd, St. Clair's force established a camp on a high hill, near the headwaters of the Wabash River. A native force consisting of around 11 warriors, led by Chiefs Little Turtle and Blue Jacket, established a large lodging, almost entirely surrounding the camp. They waited in the woods until dawn, when the men stacked their weapons and paraded to their morning meals. They then charged, surprising the Americans. The center, consisting of the Miami, Shawnee, and Lenape, first attacked the militia, who fled. Running through the main camp without weapons, the regulars immediately broke their musket stacks, formed battle lines, and fired a volley into the natives, forcing them back. St. Clair led the regulars in a bayonet charge, and had 2 horses shot out from under him. He received several bullet holes in his clothing, and had a lock of hair shot away. The artillery was able to fire its cannons, but had little effect, due to the guns being aimed too high. As a result, the artillerymen fought in hand-to-hand combat with the natives until most of them were dead. Major General Richard Butler, who was in command of the Levy Regiment, was shot twice and died in his tent. He was the first of 4 American generals killed in the native wars. The left and right wings of the Native American formation flanked the regulars and closed in on the main camp, meeting on the far side within 30 minutes. The 11 warriors had completely encircled the U.S. camp. After 3 hours of fighting, St. Clair called together the remaining officers. Faced with total annihilation, led a breakout bayonet charge. Supplies and wounded were left in camp. As before, Little Turtle's army allowed the bayonets to pass through. A Pennsylvania detachment under Major John Clark provided the rear guard for the retreat. When Clark was wounded, however, the detachment fled with no organized defense against the pursuing Native Americans. The retreat quickly turned into a rout. St. Clair later wrote in a letter that the route was littered with discarded cartridge boxes and uniforms, as the fleeing army threw away any items that slowed them down. Private Stephen Laytell became lost in the woods and accidentally returned to the abandoned camp. He reported that the Native Americans were all gone in pursuit of the fleeing army. The wounded who remained begged him to kill them before the natives returned. The natives continued their pursuit, killing those who fell to the rear of the retreat. After they had gone about 4 miles, they returned to loot the camp. Laytell, hiding beneath a tree, reported that they ate the abandoned food, divided the spoils, and killed the wounded. The soldiers who managed to escape reached Fort Jefferson later that day. Aftermath. The casualty rate was the highest percentage ever suffered by the United States in a battle, including St. Clair's second-in-command, Richard Butler. The American casualty rate among the soldiers was around 85% of the 14 regulars. Levies and militia 918 were killed and 276 were wounded. Almost a quarter of the entire U.S. Army was either dead or wounded in the aftermath of the Battle of the Wabash. Native casualties were about 60, with around 20 killed and 40 wounded. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing.